Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, may you all now scan the QR code on your table for the itinerary. We would like to announce, in conjunction with our forum today, there is a concurrent 3-day forum, National Climate Governance Summit 2024. Starting yesterday 10th to 12th September, you can find the registration code and the link for the live stream on our Facebook page, UCSI University Sarawak campus. Ladies and gentlemen, the arrival of our guest of honor. Rise and put your hands together to welcome the Deputy Minister for Energy and the Honorable Dr. Hardy Akram with our hearty evening. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, may we all rise for the national anthem, the Negara. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam sejahtera, salam Sarawak bersayap, salam Sarawak maju makmur. The Honorable Datuk Dr. Haji Haslan bin Abang Haji Hibli, Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Sarawak. Madam Mukbila Kawasaru, Pro-Vice Chancellor of UCSI University, Sarawak Campus. Distinguished guests, Mr. Moshiji Fadri, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Entrepreneurial Development, Sarawak. Distinguished moderator, panel speakers, head of department, professors, doctors, foreign delegates from industry, lecturers and students of higher institutes of learning, delegates from UCSI Sarawak Campus, members of the media. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the Sustainable Nutrition and Cross-Sector Strategy for Achieving Net Zero Economy Forum. in conjunction with the National Climate Garden Summit 2024.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will now begin our event with the Dua recitation by Professor Aziza Yati.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, especially to our distinguished guests. We will begin our dua by reciting the Ummul Kitab, the Al-Fatiha. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الرحمن الرحيم. مالك يوم الدين. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين آمين يا رب العالمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين حمدا يحمده كافٍ مزيدا يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي لجلال وجهك الكريم وعظيم سلطانك والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Ya Allah, we express our gratitude to you and your abundance of grace that we can gather and make the inaugural satellite forum in conjunction with the National Climate Governance Summit 2024 a success. May all who attend this event be blessed with goodness, well-being, strength, and guidance, so that we can continue to live harmoniously in your land and with your creations. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Malik as-Samawati wal-Ardi wal-Ard. In conjunction with the summit, we ask that you instill in our soul genuine concern for environmental issues, particularly climate change and its governance. May this gathering of minds in the sciences, business, and tourism be beneficial for knowledge sharing, interdisciplinary dialogue, and actionable insight. Protect us from greed, selfishness, and inconsideration towards our world and its inhabitants. Save us from being irresponsible in our efforts to maintain the sustainability and preservation of our environment. We pray that this summit will raise our awareness and improve our morals and attitudes to make this world continuously livable for us and our future generations. Ya Allah, the exceedingly graceful and the exceedingly merciful, instill in us and the children of our generation the appreciation, love, and care for the environment. Give us patience and strength to educate them so they can continue our efforts to protect this priceless gift of yours. Grant us inspiration and thoughtful wisdom to achieve our goals for the attainment of a net zero economy in the best way possible. ربنا آتنا من لدنك رحمة وهيئ لنا من أمرنا رشدا. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. صلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Thank you, Mr. Aziza. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we shall now invite Madam Mukmita Kaur Sandhu, Pro-Vice Chancellor of UCSI University Sarawak campus and Chairperson of our to deliver a welcoming remarks. Please join me to welcome Madam Mukmita to the stage.
Thank you, MCs. Our distinguished guests, Yang Berhormat Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Mr. Rashid Frederick, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Madam Amelia Rosemary, CEO of Business Events, Ms. Tan Boon, Head of the Biodiversity and Environment Division, Ministry of Natural Resources and Development, Madam Jacqueline Wong, Head of Climate Change and Corporate Sustainability, Sarawak Forestry Corporation, Mr. Zaini bin Zainal Abidin, Senior Sustainability Executive, Sarawak University. Professor Dr. Amanah Lestari, Professor at Faculty of Engineering, Technology and Built Environment, UCSI University, is also the coordinator of the Country and SCI Policy Studies at UCSI University. Ms. Sharifah Mazia, Chair of today's distinguished guests, industry, both private and government sectors, members of the media, staff, and students from UCSI and various other institutions of higher learning. Ladies and gentlemen, today's forum is a satellite event to the National Climate Governance Summit, which is currently taking place in Kuala Lumpur from the 10th to 12th September 2024 in Sasana Kitchen, Bank KL. This summit is jointly organized by the Climate Malaysia and the Companies Commission of Malaysia with the support of multilateral agencies, including the United Nations Development Programme. Climate Governance Malaysia, or CGM, is the Malaysian chapter of the World Economic Forum's Climate Governance Initiative, whose purpose is to specifically raise awareness among companies and members of the public about the top financial risks arising from climate change issues and related corporate governance aspects in alignment with local and international best practices. CGM was the second country chapter to be launched in the world, and to date, there are almost 30 country chapters now, including those in Asia Pacific, Australia, Singapore, and New Zealand. The summit, happening in KL, features more than 80 thought leaders who are providing their insights on topics such as biodiversity conservation, climate ambition and targets, climate resilience, as well as decarbonization and net zero transitions. UCSI University has been appointed as one of the university collaborators for this, underscoring our role as an institution of higher learning who can play a leadership role and become a hub for local communities to step up efforts on climate action, environmental conservation, and education for sustainable development. We have therefore organized this inaugural forum themed Sustainable Transitions and Cross-Sector Strategies for Achieving the Net Zero Economy, or Net Zero Carbon, as YB was suggesting, in collaboration with Alam, or Amanah Lestari Alam. Alam is another national initiative by Bank of Malaysia, again, to raise awareness on sustainability through education. We have brought together experts from various sectors in Sarawak to discuss and share insights on how their sectors are advancing towards a net zero carbon, and how we are in general able to gain inspiration from their input and do what we can to be a part of it, whether as an individual or an employee in our respective industries. And of course, the youth who are our participants here today as well. We are indeed encouraged by the support of the Ministry of Energy and Environment and Sustainability in giving us the endorsement to move forward with this event. This forum has one simple aim: to raise awareness amongst our youth and communities on how Sarawak is taking the lead in net zero initiatives and moving towards a green economy. We want participants to get thinking about how they can be involved in these initiatives and know about the transitions happening in all sectors and gain insights into net zero and green opportunities. Today, the Sarawak green economy landscape and its rise and continuous drive to be one of the top leaders in the nation and in the region will be apparent as we hear from the Deputy Minister himself, and key stakeholders in Sarawak, describing their amazing, far-reaching work and commitments to sustainability. Ladies and gentlemen, we will not stop at this point. To ensure continuity of our efforts today and meaningful impact, we will soon be launching a youth event, tentatively titled Net Zero Now, Shaping Sustainable Futures Together. This event will feature youth pitching their innovative ideas and solutions to various stakeholders, including to those who are here today, for mentorship and resources. This will eventually allow them to implement their projects in selected communities across Sarawak over a period of time. Regular check-in with their industry mentors will ensure projects are on track and provide opportunities for feedback and adjustments. We hope to be able to showcase their work at next year's forum and look forward to working with the speakers who are here today as we plan this program. This should enable us to drive multi-sectoral collaborations towards education and sustainable development, a framework aimed at changing mindsets and hence lifestyles to achieve sustainability objectives. We will continue to work with our partners to innovate and uplift our standards as an internationally competitive local institution, striving towards education for sustainable development and excellence. The university continues to make big strides in the higher education industry and is now amongst the top 300 universities worldwide, according to the QS World University Rankings 2024, placing it among the top 1% of the world's universities. In addition, we have been ranked by QS at number 4 in the world for environment sustainability, or sustainable policies and initiatives across all key campuses here in Malaysia. We are deeply committed to education for sustainable development, embedding sustainability principles throughout our operations. Our Regional Center of Expertise, or RCE Kuching, ladies and gentlemen, has been recognized by the United Nations University in Tokyo, Japan, and it spearheads initiatives aimed at building sustainable communities and empowering youth to contribute to the UN Sustainable Development Goals. These achievements are all testament to the university's push for excellence and accomplishment going beyond and making profound differences in all that we do for the benefit of Sarawak and its commitment to a sustainable environment. Let me now also try and introduce you to a free and self-paced e-learning course which has been put together by the United Nations University. This course is offered in the UN CC Learn, or UN Climate Change Learning Partnership platform, which provides access to climate change learning resources and services offered by the UN system. We urge you to register yourselves and get a foundational understanding of climate change, the science behind it, its impacts, solutions to climate change, while showcasing actionable steps one can take to contribute to achieving a net zero society. You will get an e-certificate upon completion of this course. On this note, before I end, I'd like to congratulate all for being part of this day. We are grateful to all our sponsors for today's event, including Sarawak Energy, for your generous sponsorship. Today's forum has been made possible by a multi-faculty organizing committee consisting of academics and support staff from various disciplines. And of course, I would like to thank all the speakers and the moderator for your support, participants, of course, the students and student enumerators who will be making sure that we document key messages from today's event. We hope you gain invaluable insights today and trust that you will be inspired to take further action. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Winter, for the remarks.
It is now with great honor that we invite the Honorable Dr. Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Sarawak, to present his keynote address.
I think it's simple that way. It's too high. Thank you very much for the two lovely cheers. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Yang bahagia Madam Winter Rose Yes, right?
Sini boleh.
Biasa Dr. Amanah Lestari Alam, a few minutes ago, Dr. speak also. He is the coordinator of the program working group of Amanah Center for Direct Policy Studies, Professor at the University of Engineering Technology. Of course, Mr. Moshini is very Open Secretary of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Environment. Madam Emilia Rosina, the Chief Executive Officer, Business Events, Madam Tang, Head of Biodiversity and Environment, Madam Jacqueline Wong, Ye Pang, Head of Climate Mr. Zaimi bin Zainal Abidin, Senior Sustainability Executive, distinguished guests, all delegates, I believe there are about more than 200 students, professors, students, ladies and gentlemen. You know the reason we're all here today, this afternoon, in this sleepy part of the day. Of course, for the young old people like me, we are a bit sleepy. So on. The reason is one, which is climate change. Climate change. I hope at least 60% of you here understand what climate change is all about. Have you read about climate change? Can I ask questions? I'm just joking. So, the world now is facing a few major challenges. One of it is how to mitigate climate change, right? And we have to discover new methods on how to solve climate challenges, and that is called climate solution. But of course, I don't have enough time, because if I were to go through my slides, are the slides here? Yeah? Or you can see it. All right. It will take me about at least 3 to 4 hours. So I will try to compress everything into only 30 minutes. Right? 30 minutes. Just not me, 30 minutes.
No, middle one.
And the solution
Side
to
one.
climate change, or climate solution, can easily be understood if you understand the basis of it. And it can be divided into 2 main ways. What are the 2? One is nature-based solution. Nature-based solution, which is through the forest, through photosynthesis, through the absorption of CO2 from the atmosphere. And Sarawak can do this. Sarawak has both the solution. Okay? So as you can see, I think most of you are Sarawakians. the size of huge, isn't it? It's almost as huge as Batu Malaysia. It's about 12.4 million hectares, and 62% of that land mass is covered by forests. You can imagine the amount of carbon sink that we have, not only in the forest, but also in the heat, and also in the ocean, in blue carbon. So we have estimated our carbon sink in Sarawak to be about 750 million tons to maximum of at least 1 billion. That is our strength. Sarawak, I'm not talking about Malaysia. Malaysia has less because we are so huge and we have so many trees there. Alright, so that is nature-based solution, and nowadays, you know, we can do carbon trading through carbon credits, and Sarawak is already doing since last year. Okay, so that is the first method, nature-based solution. But nature-based solution is not very accurate. How are you going to measure the tree? How much CO2 does the tree absorb per day, per hour, per minute? You know? So, we must look for other more accurate, more effective ways to reduce carbon emission. And the answer is technical based. That is the way to reduce carbon emission. If our target is, as mentioned by Professor Peter just now, is by 2050, net zero carbon by 2050. And our other target is 45% reduction by 2030, which is only 5.5 years away. How can we do it so fast? There's no way if we only depend on the forest or on the nature-based solution. That's why we look and we discover technical-based solutions, which are made up of a few ways. I'll go into that. The other strength, just to share with you the strengths that Sarawak has, is our rivers. We have so many rivers. We have got more than 300 rivers, and on the huge rivers, we can develop and construct our hydroelectric dams. Now we have 4 hydroelectric dams producing about 3,700 megawatts of energy. And the first dam was commissioned in 1985. This Sarawak is very visionary because of our past leaders who have been talking about climate change, who have been talking about renewable energy. And the first leader to speak about climate change in Sarawak in the Dewan Undangan in 1979 was the late Tona. His speech is still there. He spoke about climate change. But at that time, nobody realized the importance of climate change. That was 1979. And Sarawak has constructed our first hydroelectric dam in Batang, which is near Kuching, in 1985. Yeah, 1985. And after that, of course, Baku, Murung, and now Bali, which is under construction. And we are also constructing another dam for our neighbors, Indonesia. Yeah, just next to Bario, which is called Bantarang Indo, on top of Nusantara. Yeah, the size of the dam is half of Baku, and SEB, Sarawak Energy Berhad, has an equity in it. Okay? So that is the turning point. It is hydroelectricity. And with hydro, Sarawak is so powerful now with green energy. Nobody has that amount of green energy in this part of the world. Okay? So we got to understand that. And of course, our leadership. If we are going to execute the green initiative, we need a strong leadership. Very, very highly committed, visionary, and brave leadership. And the leadership is in our right honorable committee, who has all the ideas, even before the ministry was set up. Our ministry is still new, it's only about 2.5 years old, and we are able to execute all these ideas, almost all. Yeah? And we started with 4 frameworks. Before we embark in any green initiative, we must prepare 4 frameworks. What are the frameworks? Number 1 is the legal framework. Number 2 is the technical framework. Number 3 is the financial and business. Number 4 is the talent development, human resource, awareness framework, which I think the UCSI is involved in. That is framework number 4. Yeah, this is roughly what the frameworks are all about. Okay? And before we embark, we face a lot of challenges. That's why we need a very strong leadership. Without a very highly competent leadership, we achieve what we have achieved now. And one of the first policies that we have created in the last 1 year is our energy transition policy. How to transition from the usual fossil coal and so on to renewable energy. So this is it's quite simple. It's more simplified than our NETR. You heard about NETR? National Energy Transition policy in federal. If you read that, it will take you a few hours. And you won't understand much. But if you look at this, you can understand immediately. The whole thing is based on the energies that Sarawak has. Sarawak has, this is the technical based solution. So Sarawak has at least 8 energies. At least 8 energies. The renewable energy are made up of our hydro energy, which is not only 3,700, because we are already upscaling the hydro energy now. And our target will be 10,000 megawatt by 2030. And it is possible through our floating solar projects on all the dams, through our cascading or smaller dams, 3 through pump hydro, and 4 through combined gas cycle. Yeah? These are the 4 methods. And we can achieve 10,000 megawatts by 2030, and maybe even 15,000 megawatts by 2035, so that we can take more industry through various other ways. For example, waste to energy. You are doing that in university. Waste converted to energy. Yeah, it is possible. It is possible through various ways. And of course, the other renewable energy that we have is solar, floating solar. We also have wind, and it is actually offshore wind. I think Dr. Ahmad was asking me just now, which wind do we have? So we have actually offshore wind, which is about 100 nautical miles away. And we have succeeded in proving that concept with Shell. We work with Shell, and we have transformed one platform, which is called the TMI platform. You can Google TIMI, TMI platform, which can produce 1 megawatt for that platform using a combination of solar and wind. Okay. That's the way forward. And the other platforms will be doing the same thing later. We have succeeded. And the surprising in energy just now, I told Prof. Dr. Ahmad, is we also have wave kinetic energy. Wave kinetic energy, gelombang laut. Sebenarnya, non di Bintulu. In the north, yeah, in Bintulu, and our first POC is at the jetty of Petcam in Bintulu, the jetty, which can produce 1 megawatt. That is enough for Petcam. in the offices. Right? So the rest are the derivatives of the renewable energy. For example, hydrogen. Hydrogen. Everybody is talking about hydrogen. Sarawak is the hydrogen hub. Not Malaysia, it's actually Sarawak. Will be the hydrogen hub of this part of the world. Why? Why then? Why? You know that? Have you heard that hydrogen is actually the most democratic energy in the world? The most democratic. What does it mean? It means every nation in the world can produce hydrogen. Every nation. As long as they have two things. What are the two things? Water and energy to split the water. Water and energy to split the water. To split the water to hydrogen energy. That's all. The only difference is what type of energy does that nation has. That is it. Does that nation use fossil, coal, or nuclear, or like Sarawak and Malaysia, we are using hydroelectric and so on to split the water and produce. So that's why Sarawak will be the major hydrogen producer in this part of the world, and we have got two plants going to be constructed in between, one by Samsung and the other by Sumitomo, and will be ready by 2030 and can produce about 240,000 tons of hydrogen. That will be by 2030. Okay? Energy efficiency is another field. Energy efficiency. You can actually reduce the usage of energy. I think the energy is a bit too hot. The spotlight and sweating. Spotlight fan. You can reduce. There are technologies which can reduce your power to, you know how much you can save if you use those technologies? 30 to even 40%. You can reduce your electricity. Now, there is that technology available. Green mobility, of course, our ART, autonomous rapid transport, our heavy vehicles, even our Delta Mirai by our Premier and so on, all hydrogen power. Bioenergy is good. When I was in Houston in March this year, I spoke in the closed-door dialogue of 25 nations. So some nations were so proud to say that they have this energy and that energy, the bioenergy. Brazil, for example, is so proud to say that they are planting a lot of sugar cane to produce ethanol, which can be used for energy. And in the country, Canada, US, and so on, they are planting a lot of corn, jago, corn, to produce ethanol. Then when it was my turn, this small African guy, I told them we got 3 biomass for our bioenergy. We got 3. Not just one, we got 3. What are the 3? One is oil palm waste. 2 is microalgae, which makes and can produce sustainable aviation fuel and also biodiesel. And number 3 is wood and bamboo pellets. And of course, CCUS, carbon capture, usage, and storage. This is going to be the most important and most effective, because this one is direct air capture. Direct air capture in the industrial area, liquefy the carbon, inject it down into our depleted oil wells. Sarawak has 1,650 depleted oil, mostly offshore. And we also have the natural saline aquifer. And our total storage space potential from our depleted oil wells is 9 billion tons. And our saline aquifer is 3 trillion. Just imagine the amount of new revenue that Sarawak will have in the next few years when we embark into our CCUS business. And injected and stored down for hundreds of years. The emitter or the owner of the carbon will have to pay tax. We have to pay petals for the storage. And we have also synthetic fuels. Synthetic fuels, we have already develop our methanol plant. Methanol plant will be just launched last month. And there will be more synthetic fuels. For example, e-kerosene, right? And other EEE synthetic fuels. And of course, we cannot forget oil and gas. Oil and gas, of course, we are still transitioning, and it will take us about 10 to 15 years to transition from our usual fossil to green energy. It will take 10 to 15 years. During that time, we will still need our LNG, which is the cleanest gas. Even though it's still not very green, but it's the cleanest. So with that, we are able to proceed. This is our policy made in Sarawak. We also have another policy, which is the green economy policy. Green economy policy. Green economy policy. Yeah. I will show this to, especially to Professor Peter, because it is more accurate to say green economy, not net zero economy. Net zero is carbon. The economy is green economy. These are all our projects I mentioned just now. Right? This is our electrolyzer. We are constructing this electrolyzer here in the factory is here. Green economy process. All is not there. We'll show you later. Okay? Show you later. So we have all those legal regulations, regulatory, and so on. Framework. Technical is not difficult. We already have half of the technical expertise here in Sarawak. The other half will be collaboration with the technical finance system. But now, with all these conferences and seminars going on all over the world, and the Premier and myself have been talking all over the world, the banks are no. It's just whether you want it or not. And then, lastly, of course, our human resource and talent development framework. I think they use this. And I just would like to share. Kerti University in Mimik. Kerti University is one of the best in this part of the world, which is called the Bachelor of Energy Engineering. Bachelor of Energy. Just focus on course 8.9 energy. Yeah? And it was launched by myself in November last year. And now I have about almost 10 to 15 students. They will be 4 years, and these are our experts. Every year, the numbers will increase. And at ICAS, I believe some of you are from ICAS. ICAS will be doing the training part for the technicians, for the hydrogen technicians, for the CCUS technicians, and so on. So, because of time constraint, the 3 minutes left. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me. This is a very good conference, very, very important conference, and I think every one of you here can play a role in mitigating climate change, which is of course the main reason, but also because we have both the solutions, both the nature-based and technical solutions, we are not only able to participate in the mitigation of climate change, but we can also create new revenues, we can capitalize, and we can monetize all those natural resources that we have. With that, thank you once again to the UCSI for inviting me, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.
Thank you to Honorable Dr. Haji Hazlan, Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Sarawak, for the insightful keynote address. Please be reminded to scan the code provided on your tablet for the itinerary. The registration for the National Climate Governance Summit 2024, you can find the registration QR code and the link for the live stream on our Facebook page, UCSI University Sarawak campus. Moving on to our next highlight.
Ladies and gentlemen, in conjunction with the National Climate Governance Summit 2024, we now move on to the forum panel discussion session. The session will be moderated by Professor Dr. Ahmad bin Ibrahim. The forum will feature insights from our esteemed panelists on sustainable transitions and cross-sector strategies for achieving a net zero economy. May we now invite on stage the moderator and panel speakers. First, we would like to introduce our moderator, Professor Dr. Ahmad bin Ibrahim, coordinator of the Program Working Group of Country Omaha, Center for STI Policy Studies, Professor at the Faculty of Engineering, Technology and Built Environment, UCSI University.
And let me introduce our panel speakers. Mr. Moshidi Frederick, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and Entrepreneur Development, Sarawak. Madam Amanah Lestari Alam, Chief Executive Officer, Business Event Sarawak. Madam Tan Wong, Head of Biodiversity and Environment Division, Ministry of Natural Resources and Urban Development. Madam Jacqueline Wong Yefan, Head of Climate Change and Corporate Sustainability, Sarawak Forestry Corporation. Mr. Zaini bin Zainal Abidin, Senior Sustainability Executive, Sarawak Energy Berhad. Let us begin the session. Over to you, Professor Dr. Ahmad.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. That was a very good speech, Ahmad. And in fact, our discussion will be all around that speech. In fact, if you talk about sustainability, no country now can escape pressures of sustainability. Pressures as well as opportunities. I'm glad that there are over 200 students here this afternoon because you will have the role to play in ensuring that we achieve net zero sustainability. In fact, as mentioned by the Minister, the green economy actually presents huge opportunities for business and for career. So in fact, if we talk about universities, many of the universities now are making SDG net zero as very much part of their teaching and research. Because UCSI University, as mentioned by the winner, we are very serious about SDG. And recently, I just would like to announce, part of my Center for Science Policy Studies, we have just established an International Institute for Science, Diplomacy and Sustainability. And this is headed by a very prominent Malaysian in the international circuit on SDG, Professor Lestari Alam. And we have plans for the university, especially in science diplomacy. Because we talk about sustainability, there has to be a lot of collaboration among countries. One country alone cannot deliver. So this is where science diplomacy comes in. And we intend to provide training to all our sort of foreign service and international trade players how to negotiate trade terms and other avenues for collaboration on sustainability. So today, what we want to do is, we have a very relaxed atmosphere, a conversation. Just want to talk. Don't feel shy, and don't be afraid to share your views. And after one or two rounds, we'll have the students. I would like to encourage the students to also say something about sustainability. What are your views? And don't worry, because to me, there is no such thing as a bad question. All questions are clarification. So the first question that I want to pose to our panelists, maybe to start with Chief the Governance Secretary to Youth and Sports. Well, we talk a lot about climate governance. What do you think? What does it mean for you, and how is your institution responding to this climate governance? Please.
Thank you, Mr. Okay, before we talk more climate governance, it would be good for me to talk about the space of what we are doing right now. When we talk about sustainable development. Well, in Sarawak, right after COVID-19, we have developed what we call the CCS, post-COVID strategy. And I think, as we all know, that the three pillars of the PCDS activity is economic prosperity, social inclusivity, and also. And then when you look at the three pillars, it's all interlinked with each other. When we talk about climate implications. Yes. And of course, through the PCDS activity, there is a long-term strategy to achieve what we call the Sarawak would like to achieve a fully developed and high income state by 2030. And then right now, the study was started before the 2019. The overall economic development in Sarawak 2019 is about 156 billion. And then what we would like to achieve by 2030 is 282 billion. That is our target. In order to achieve that target, we need a growth percentage of 8%. Rapidly. Yeah. So that is the target. And then how are we going to achieve it? And of course, looking at the scenario, looking at the situation in Sarawak, particularly after COVID-19 pandemic, we have come up with a number of industries which we think that can drive Sarawak to achieve it. Namely, number one is mining, then come agriculture, then come tourism, manufacturing, mining, and services. So through these six main catalyst industry, we believe that, as they shared by Amanah Lestari Alam, we believe that we can achieve that level. And then apart from that, where we talk about all these industries, of course, we have to think about what are the benefits first, what we should do. And then one of the angles that we are talking about is education and human capital. This way, my ministry, when we talk about that, we play a role in the youth development. And then when we talk about youth development in Sarawak, we are talking about those people who are within the range of 50 years old until 40 years. And then I know at the federal level is up Sarawak, we still keep it to 40 years. Meaning that the youth in Sarawak, most people categorize as youth is for 15 to 40 years. And then I believe more than 70% of us here in this room belong to that. That's why you can see that youth development is one of the most aspects where we talk about, we want to achieve UCSI. And then again, apart from youth development, also we have to think about other industries, about other enablers. And then that's where we talk about digital transportation, and then that's where we talk about transportation, and then that's where we talk about energy transition. All this kind of things. It's all well integrated for us to achieve.
Yeah, very correct. In fact, we talk about one of the biggest challenges to achieve sustainability is acceptance by the people, by the public. Awareness, education. Education is key, and this is where the role of higher education, universities, other institutions of learning, to get people to appreciate the gravity of this climate change. In fact, scientists predict that climate change is going to do more damage than COVID. So this is a big question that we need to respond to. Next, we move to our CEO of Sarawak event business. What do you think? Is Sarawak doing the right thing in terms of addressing the challenge or even capturing the opportunities?
Of course, Sarawak is doing the right thing.
All right. Okay, thank you so much. I'm Emilia. I'm from Business Event Sarawak. So before I answer your question, I want to know that how many people have heard of Business Event Sarawak? Wow. Thank you, UCSI. Thank you, everyone. I saw even my team member also put her hands up. Very supportive. So as you know, that business events, what we do is that we meet, we support, we develop national and international events in any topic. So, when Sarawak government comes up with the BCDS 2013, and then the sustainability come up, and UN SDGs and so on, there's one question that we ask ourselves. Where do we place ourselves in all of this? Where is Sarawak going to be, and how is Sarawak is going to be relevant? So we need to change. So in the beginning, in Sarawak, we focused with tourism. So all the international events that we brought in, we look at the number of the tourists, but no longer. Because what we do now is that after 15 years, after 10 years in the business, we realized that we in Sarawak can contribute more, and the time was perfect when sustainability, when UN SDGs, when PCDS 2030, all everybody was talking about it. Everybody trying to find a place, what they should do, how they should do it, and we figured it out. So in our own term, we call it legacy impact. So with legacy impact is the line with the PCDS 2030, our pillar at same, which is the economy, social and community, and also environmental. And of course, we also align with the UN SDG. And all of the events that we are hosting can be measured and it will be validated. Say that I have achieved this legacy. I have got, we have achieved this impact. Well, it needs to be validated to make it right. So where is sustainability comes from this? So as you know that, we like to be, actually we want to be the best friend of every sector in the industry. Because what we do, although we are under tourism, it does not mean that our event is only for tourism. With Waibila Hazan, we have Asia Pacific Green Hydrogen conference and exhibitions. We also organize the first carbon conference in Asia. So, and
Community Week. And the new one that doesn't come up, I think I've been announced. The announcement should be this year. So there's so many things that we can do, and especially when the event or topics are, touch the sustainability, green economy. This is something that, we really encourage for. Thank you.
Now I know why you are CEO of that. So actually, event is a very important platform to get into great awareness. But when we talk about, I mentioned buy-in from the public, but also very important, the leadership. The leadership to lead the state of the country into this new economy. So I'm sure everyone agrees but he is actually providing that leadership. If you look, I look around the Malaysia, if you look at the states, you can see that he is a real visionary, staying ahead of the curve. And if the whole thing is executed well, Sarawak will definitely be leading the whole country. And we are very impressed with Sarawak. But I would like to listen to our next analyst. What do you think of this kind of governance? Do you think that it is something critical? And how is your organization contributing?
Good afternoon. So, my name is Amanah Lestari Alam. I'm from the case of the Natural Resources and Urban Development. Maybe one thing that I wish to bring back all the participants here is actually the titles of the lectures actually originated because of we like to address climate change. So actually climate change from the very beginning when we started to have the UNFCCC, which is the United Nations for climate change convention. Actually it started in 1994. So from there, actually the governance, my understanding of the governance, because we are also one of the ministries in the state, which is looking into the environment and climate change for this particular. So during that, I think in the international, why the UNFCCC was actually formed, which is kind of governance, because you actually basically asking people, the parties to behave in a certain practice and accordingly. So actually everybody was ratifying, all the countries is ratifying that particular. So it's a kind of governance in that level. So when you come down to Malaysia, because Malaysia also signed the UNFCCC and also to the Kyoto Protocol, which is the tradition of going to do it in the Paris Agreement after that. So from there, actually Malaysia also have the governance. So the Malaysia governance is actually the federal government. Actually, it's mostly resident and entrusted by the Ministry of the Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability. So actually, along these years, actually they have come with a lot of their initiatives. Remember, they have national climate change policies. They have come up with the low carbon society, the green mobility. Actually, they are actually doing a lot of this, and at the same time, now I believe they are actually looking into two different policies and the direction. I don't know. Actually, it's on the basically on the NDC, which is mentioned by the is actually how we are going to achieve the 49% commitment to the Paris Agreement, which is how do we reduce now the carbon emissions in that sense. And at the same time, actually, national also come out with the education plan, which is national education plan. So I wish also that other than the mitigation measures, which everybody we are actually so much looking into it, which is the net zero, we also would like at least at our ministries looking into the applications towards it. So why we are actually looking also on the governance on to the education is because no matter how good we are, even though we are carbon negative, international still will have the impact towards the climate will still change. So we have to get ready ourselves. How do we adapt if the situation has changed? For example, if now coming that we are experiencing is a drought, so the paddy cannot be grown. So what we're supposed to do with the food security? So this is also the education plan. which is we also at our ministry is actually looking into it. So for this particular subject matters actually quite clear. Actually, and says that it is in the state level, there is a national, then come down to the state level. State level, we have basically two ministries looking into change and the environment. One is actually the ministries from the from. They are very much on the mitigations which it makes use in order to do it. So our side is actually the task to ensure that the environment will still continue to be able to be sustained in order to look into it. So that is at least to me, they actually have to tell someone where is the rules, where is the regulation, where is the policies, where is the directions that we're going to have from the international to the national and come down to the state, to our level of the state of Sarawak. I think that is basically what I can share with everyone here, which is the governance that actually related to climate change. Yeah? So maybe jump to the subject matter of sustainability. So I'm trying also to see how is the difference between sustainability and environmental sustainability. For me, sustainability means especially in the context of the industries, I believe you are talking about more like your social, your environmental initiative, your governance, are you actually well doing in every single aspect, because there is the survival and also is the branding of your own organization. But come to the environmental sustainability, there is two different contexts, at least to my understanding. The first one is definitely the environmental sustainability in the context of micro, which is one department or one entities, one companies, one business entities. What you do in environmental subject matter to make sure that we have to do green means that I don't have raw material that you use in less in order to produce more, is green. And or you can doing your subject matter, doing your operations actually you reduce waste. So that is in I think that is in the context of the company. But in the context of the environment, so even so, everybody is doing very well in their business and in your sustainability, but there's no doubt the whole environment itself. It has to be looking and coordinated as well, because you need to know whether your ecosystem services, which is the things that actually is the nature of the you. For example, you can get the timbers, you can get the waters, you can get whatsoever regulatory services, cultural services, supporting services like agricultural, cycle, whether your rent is will continue to come down. All these are environmental sustainability in the larger context. So actually to us, in the ministry, we actually bring to that. So, but then there is no threshold. Now, so today, there is no threshold to say, okay, I can spend so much of my monetary resources and left how much. There is no such thing, because we have to monitor along the way the environmental parameters that you are looking into. For example, we have not been able to continue to hold the 4,000 millimeters of temperature. We will still have to measure that as an impact on the whole environment.
All right. Hey, thank you very much. A very good point, actually. In fact, business around the world, they must not take for granted the environment. Because the environment is actually an enabler of business. That's why now people talk about the other capitalism, like this natural capitalism. And if we're not taking care of nature, then that will also affect our business. That's why in the sustainability formula, you have three pillars. One is society and profit. Because economy, whatever you say, everything has to deliver economic returns. But how do we sustain this economy? That is the issue. How can we sustain? We will continue to degrade the natural resources which provide the services to our people. So the next question, a friend from Forest. But Forest has been mentioned by Amanah, plays a very important role in balancing this emission, the sequestration. So maybe you can tell us how forestry responding to this.
Right. Thank you, Professor. My name is Jacqueline. So I have been with Sarawak Forestry Corporation for more than 2 years. And the three speakers actually have talked about the whole big pictures of, in terms of governance, the policies, how businesses are actually targeting on the net zero economy. So for us here in Sarawak Forestry, when you say that how we actually help to conserve on the ecosystem part, one of the things that we actually do at our site is that we have this revolving initiatives, which is approach, a transformative approach, in order to restore the natural habitat. So these rewilding activities actually we reintroduce a native plant species, and we also work together with the local communities to help us to plant this. The purpose of this is actually because we wanted to create a self-sustaining ecosystem, and also we want to have flowering plants, the habitat there, and also able to create wild fruits and seeds, so that all these wildlife can actually come back, and then they can reside in that, and also this area that we have degraded, we have rewild, will actually serve as a corridor for the wildlife to pass through all this. So the several sites that we have rewild is that we have done all these activities in, for example, in Seminaja, in Kuching Wetland, in Rejang Mangrove, which is our mangrove site, and as well as Samajaya. So when you talk about, in terms of the governance and to work together, how we do the revenue part, we are also engaged with other corporate partners, which serve as a public-private partnership. And one of it is actually we did it together with Sarawak Energy and Metal and OM Holdings, just to name a few. So all this actually, the corporate partners actually like the ideas of bringing back the rewilding the forest and also bringing back the biodiversity.
Yes, very true. In fact, some scientists have mentioned that the COVID-19, the microbes, actually one of the potential source is from the natural habitat. Because of our not managing our biodiversity well, some of these habitats have been encroached and they have to escape. This is a worry, that's why it's very important to observe the natural environment. Habitats, not just for the big wildlife, but for the microbes. The microbes already been staying in the habitat, already actually stay there. So this is. But of course, the main issue in climate change is energy choice. I mentioned also the Sarawak source of energy. So maybe we can have our next panelist talk about what Sarawak Energy is doing to fulfill this obligation.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to everyone. Before that, I would just want to say, seeing lots of students here really made me feel 10 years younger already. Alright, thank you so much for having me today. It is such a great honor for me to be here, sitting with esteemed panelists. So I would just like to echo from what being shared by our fellow panelists earlier on, especially on climate governance topic. So just to add on, right? So in my view, corporate governance is basically a set of direction. Okay? So we will. It can be in the form of policies or frameworks that involving diverse groups such as governments, NGOs, private sectors, academia, civil society, as well as local communities to respond and to manage climate change. So the main aim is basically to get everyone together and in a coordination and having a collective action for climate change mitigation, adapt to climate impact, as well as foster for sustainable development. All right. So now I'll be coming in from a perspective of corporate. Okay. So I would like to share on how Sarawak Energy respond and manage climate change. All right. So governance. All right. It is the word of the day. So by committing to our corporate business emission 1.5 degrees C and net zero under the United Nations Global Compact. So basically, when you already have a clear vision, you have clear targets and commitment. So there is where you can map out your action plans, your roadmap in accordance to what you have set in the first place, which is your vision and target. All right. So as we know, that Sarawak Energy is a vertically integrated power utility company that have a vision to achieve sustainable growth and prosperity for Sarawak in meeting the region's needs for reliable and renewable energy. So, as what our moderator has mentioned earlier, basically, one of the irony is that one of the biggest culprit of largest emitters, energy sector is one of them. Okay, based on the PCC reports. So here we acknowledge the fact that, and we, in Sarawak Energy, taking up the responsibility, right, for becoming the first large corporation in Malaysia to achieve validation and approval from the Science-Based Target Initiative, which I will talk a little bit more later, on its carbon emission reduction targets, right? So it is very important for us to understand, have a clear understanding and baseline setting for us actually, because the roadmap eventually later will outline the targeted action as well as milestone for energy transition towards a low carbon as well as sustainable energy model, right? So I would like also to provide a little bit brief information on the science-based target. All right, science-based target actually provides a clear evidence-based framework for an organization to address climate change as well as to demonstrate their commitment in sustainability, mitigating risk as well as contributing to the global climate goals. All right. So how Sarawak Energy plans to reduce its emissions? All right, with regard to this targets being set. All right. So one of the main emission that Sarawak Energy has is Scope 1 emission coming from its power generation. All right. So in order for us to achieve this target, Sarawak Energy needs to reduce 80.3% of its emission, or 0.17 tons CO2 equivalent per megawatt hour by the year 2030 from the year 2020 as the base year. All right. So how are we going to do this? It is doable, right? So among of the main initiatives that we have in mind is that we need to increase renewable energy portion in terms of capacity and generation mix, and we need to diversify our generation renewable energy resources. We need to ensure that energy efficiency within our operation, and we need to have a responsible production and consumption. We need to also adopt low carbon technology as well as diversification of our supply and demand side. So we are also forgetting to reduce our absolute Scope 3 emission in the category of use of sold product. So how we are going to do that? Basically, we need to reduce the use of sold product and as well as to reduce the emission throughout our value chain, right? So what's next for Sarawak Energy, right? So we target to have our net zero to be validated and approved by SBTi in the following year, end of 2025. Consequently, for us to implement that action plan and to decarbonize our operation throughout the value chain. So I will stop here.
Yeah. In fact, Sarawak is a bit different than energy mix, right? Sarawak, because I see that the bulk of your electricity is coming from hydro. How many percent? 70%. 70%. So, but for Malaysia, one of our biggest revenue is oil and gas, right? Fossil fuel. So, how do you think the country, I'm talking about the country, and Sarawak, I think you have the right mix to really have Sarawak decarbonize. But then again, can the world live without fossil fuel? Maybe you can start. Can the world actually live without fossil fuel? Because fossil fuel is the most abundant and is the cheapest. So you talk about economic ambition. That's part of the plan. So what do you think?
Okay, thank you for the question. All right, short answer, yes. We can actually live without fossil fuel. There has been a successful story from our neighboring countries, and as well as like in Australia, Tasmania and whatnot, and 99% of their operation or generation coming from renewable energy. So for our case, it is quite hard for us to get that because of the energy transition. Australia. Yeah. Right. So we need to take into account not only energy transition, but as well as the just transition. We cannot transit to the renewable energy overnight. We need to take into consideration not only in terms of the economic part, but as well as in terms of the social part. What happened to the staff, the employee that work in the fossil fuel industry earlier on, and what will happen if the power plant will be shut down in the future? So what we need to do is that we need to reskill and upskill them in order for them to sustain themselves, not only in the company, but in the long run. So again, it is feasible, but we need to take consideration energy trilemma basically, all right, affordable, reliable, as well as sustainable.
They say that we are not looking at 100% because it's because what we are looking at is the balance in all sources. And fossil fuel will definitely go on to play a role. That's why when you go to top meetings, some of the conference parties, there is no agreement to phase out because of the economy.
Yeah, I wanted to add on that. Like long time ago, before whoever discovered fossil fuel, right? We used, I don't know, the movie that I watched, they used, it's not just from Hollywood. And I believe, like, from this time, we use Manhattan, walking, hiking. Yeah. But how long does it take for all of us, to use machines that are powered by electric and also the fuel? It takes a long time. So when hydrogen came, everybody was skeptical. We hear here, there, all the story. It will not replace. It's expensive. It's this and that. But it needs time. But I do agree with what you say that we might be looking at the balance of the field and also the hydrogen. It might not go 100%, but it maybe it's gonna take a long time. Look at our machine in the factory. Look at all of the things that we have around us. You know, that all needs to be changed. And if you want to change that, the chain, the whole big ecosystem, it needs to be changed. And that takes a while. Even that industrial 4.0, when you want to, you know, like digitalize and you know, through technology and so on, it takes some time until now. Yeah, that's all things.
Change is more difficult thing. And yes,
I think when we talk about fossil fuel, I believe we can achieve that. Because I still believe that innovation is the answer. Yes, because if you go back, as we mentioned like earlier just now, you go back to 1,000 years back, how a human being can build a big structure. We go to Mesopotamia. It's not possible. It's all here. It's all innovative and creative. Innovation. And then I believe also, it's all based on how we balance as a human being. For examples, when we talk about energy, even waste. But how far we are? Because when you look at this, these are the things that we need to look into that matter. Definitely. Because I'm talking about Sarawak, based on my own experience, they spend a lot to manage waste. Because we are still using the conventional way. For example, that, you name it, even the landfill, level 2, level 3, or level 4, we still have to manage it. And by the end of the day, it's still become waste. We are not going to use it. So, in certain countries, for example, especially with the Nordics, the Scandinavian countries, they really use it. They turn into energy. That's right. That's the thing. The awareness level is very, very important. That's why I believe, in this school, especially with the young people, with the youth, yeah, it's
a very important point.
Yes.
In fact, it's right. Malaysia, launched its biomass action plan. We last led but it's moving. Whereas, as you mentioned, more of waste of all the other industrial waste, household waste, which actually is a resource. We not able to. So maybe our friend from forest can give us some solution.
All right. Like I want to add on to that. When you talk about that, it's not about just food waste and those consumer waste. In 10 to 20 years time to come, right? We have to look at e-waste as well, right? Because now we are promoting a lot on the renewable. The battery powered cars, right? So after 20 years, after 25 years, what's going to happen to all of that, right? Because that will actually add on to our landfill. So we are actually already, losing some of the landmass. We do our modeling to check on some of our TPA's area. So this is the thing that we actually should look at. And you were talking about awareness. Actually, awareness comes from, individual. You have to start from yourself first in order to get there.
Yeah, e-waste is another big challenge because when we talk about climate change, global warming is one. The other one is actually depletion of our resources. And metals, minerals, this is depleted because Yes, please.
I'm the last to share this. So just maybe go back to whether or not I think we can totally phase out. I think in any of the UMSCCC or the course, they never say we have to phase out. They never say that we have to phase out the positive, never. Yeah? They always say that because we understand this positive, which is most of the time is oil and gas and some of the things like the LPGs and the rest of the liquid type, they are actually going to be depleted. It's a non-renewable. So we have to be ready if they are ready in use, they're ready depleted. So many years ago, I still recall in the year 20,000 or somewhere, I think Europe already starts to look into other than this the fossil fuel, because they know one day if they really run out, because they are also the countries without resources, so they really running out. So what do? So they invest a lot in the renewable, like for example biogas. They look into a lot of waste to the energy. Actually, the waste to energy, like what PS mentioned, actually has been there for such a long years. In Europe, especially in Nordic countries, I think eventually, one of the things that we have to look into also is because biomass, it doesn't mean that it's clean. It's still burn. You understand the biomass will still become some natural resources, and you're going to burn that. It's also will come with the emission too. It's just that this emission is much lower compared to the rest of the activity. So, in order to do all this, I think it's always a balance. In here, we also put in the element of security, right? If everything is hydro, fully 100% hydro, say one day there's no rainfall, so there's no hydro. So sometimes we still also have to look into somewhere in the security where we actually have to have some spare in order for us to be able to continue our economy, the lifestyle that we're going to be. So we have to look into that many aspects in order for us to achieve certain things which is in a balance. I think that is what I'm saying that matters.
Okay, at this time, maybe we can invite some views to the floor. Students, want to say something? Please stand up and introduce yourself and just ask your question or give your views, please. Yeah.
Hi. Afternoon, everyone. My name is Joshua from Swindon. So first of all, as a Sarawakian, I'm very proud of what a visible stance Sarawak has taken against climate change. So I kind of have a two-part question, actually. Is Sarawak and Malaysia as a whole looking at nuclear energy as a viable option, as a viable, like we said just now, diversified energy option, especially with the recent exciting news in the US where for the first time ever they managed to do fusion reactors that got more energy out than what they put in. So, and also the second part of the question is how are we going to convince policymakers and also the public on nuclear energy, because we know it has a very negative reputation with Chernobyl and Fukushima and all the updated technologies. How are we going to push that in Malaysia, and if we are going to?
Yeah, that's a very good point raised. Nuclear energy. Yeah. In fact, actually, nuclear energy, many scientists think that is going to be the solution. Hydrogen is one, but nuclear, they say, is definitely. And nuclear, we're not just talking nuclear, the current nuclear way of producing energy using uranium. People are looking at other methods. In fact, the most exciting one is fusion. Fusion is going to simulate what happens in the sun. And I just read a few weeks ago that many China, they all come together to develop a very large-scale program to make nuclear energy fusion, hydrogen, high temperature, collide energy. So I think it's one that we should discount nuclear. What are the views of our panel? What do you all think?
Actually, I'm not an expert, but I want to hear from the young people up there. So the auntie up here actually wants to hear: is there any initiative, any program that you have in mind that we can collaborate? As you know that when it comes to climate change, when it comes to sustainability, it can be in any sector, in any industry. So as you know that we Sarawak, what we do is that we support, we bid, and we develop any kind of exhibitions, conferences that we can help you to partner up with our existing client or future client. So if you have any questions or in mind that what you want to do, if you don't want, you can't share it over here, but please we are more happy to have you approach our team member. Sorry, ada iklan sekejap. So we have Irene here. Irene, stand up, show yourself. Maybe our brother and sister here, anak buah, adik-adik, can approach her. And then we have Delia, and then we have Belinda. Yeah. So you have any questions on the collaboration and partnership that you want to do with the initiatives that you have? It doesn't matter, anything that relates to sustainability, climate change, that the impact that will be benefit to the economy, community and also environmental. Approach us to see how we can, partner together. Thank you.
Okay, why don't we get another? You understand?
Yeah, I really admire the guy that asking about the nuclear power. Yeah? That's why I was like, oh, this subject matter suddenly becomes so hot, huh? The nuclear power. Okay. But I guess I'm not the right ministries to tell you what are the directions that we are going to have energy because the right ministry that are talking about that is actually the Ministry of Business, right? But in order for us to understand, I totally agree. Yes, nuclear energy is a clean energy. Yes, it's clean. But no doubt, the capability and the capacity that we have today maybe in the Sarawak or in the overall in the nation, which is like Malaysia, maybe it's yet if you are there. So in any considerations for replacement for energy, I think we have to consider a lot of things. You have to consider the cost and benefit analysis, how stable it would be, how are you going to face the possible risk that you're going to be. So among the world, all the energy, especially if you refer to the renewable energy, actually we have a lot. You have hydro, you have water, you have solar, you have wind, you have thermal, you have wind. So all these are different types of the renewable energy. For your information, nuclear energy is also not a renewable energy, even though it's green. Because one day the nuclear, whatever the material that you're going to use, also will run out. So if whether or not this is a sustainability issue and a security issue, true. So when you consider what is the most stable, so I guess the most stable that I have ever seen in the report is hydro. It can really giving you the less risk in order to get it. That is the less risk. Less risk means that you don't have suddenly there is a very huge electricity go to your house and suddenly the whole house is actually black or something like a blackout. It doesn't have that kind of worry and risk, and it's very stable because the turbine runs very stably. So that is a few things that you always have to consider. That I'm not saying that nuclear is not the direction. If the country has no other, you have no hydro, you have no solar, you have no wind, you have to find some energy. But in considerations of your selection, you have to think more than just.
Yes, the thing is that ASEAN should come together and create this nuclear. What you're right in saying that you run out of the metal, but if it is fusion, you do that for hydrogen. Okay, next question. Anybody else? Yeah, please. Please state your name and your university. Yeah, too. That's good. Right. Please. One after another. Tell us your name and where you're from. Which university? University.
Hi, my name is Erlinda Farahin, and I'm a UCSI University student taking a diploma in international business. I would like to begin with stating that I am proud that Sarawak has embarked into green hydrogen production under our green energy agenda with the aim of decarbonizing and greening our transport system. Additionally, similar initiatives are being undertaken globally, such as in Japan, where the Minister of Environment Japan mentions in the Green Growth Strategy 2021, which outlines financial support for industries to adopt renewable energy. Therefore, as a student, my concern is for our future and readiness in adopting a net zero economy here in Sarawak. So my question is, what specific measures are being taken to ensure that Sarawak's renewable energy projects can attract long-term funding, which could be after the PCBM 2030 is being implemented?
Yes, anybody? Minister. Well, and at least I was Sarawak Energy. You have some views on this?
Hello. I think I can take up this question. So thank you very much for hosting. All right. So basically, your question is more or less how to sustain in terms of net zero vision in the future and what's next after net zero, right? So I think it will never end until our Earth comes to its judgment day. All right. So we must continuously improve in terms of technology, innovation, our capacity building, in terms of human talent and capacity. All right. Another one is that we should be always in the outlook of the latest international standards out there. All right. There are many standards frameworks out there that we can adopt. All right. But it needs to be specific to our own local context. All right. So we must be stay in active mode, as well as we need to be ahead of the curve in order for us to stay relevant, as well as to be in an advantage, competitive advantage. So what I want to say here is that it is a continuous journey. It will never end. So it's up to actually how the parties involved through multi-level, how they are going to govern, how they are going to mitigate, adapt, and stay resilient. All right, for Sarawak context, national as well as globally. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, right. There's no ending to net zero. It is going to go on forever. And if you talk about careers, future careers, those who are more knowledgeable about this issue of carbon net zero sustainability will have a better chance of progressing in your career. So it is a message for the students. If you start learning about the net zero, yeah, we have
No problem. Can I tell you?
yeah.
Yes. When we talk about, how to sustain it, I think I would like to go back to SDG 12, responsible production. We have to act within the societies. For example, simple things like the food that we consume, how much, and then we have to think about the energy that we use to produce those food that we produce. And then I would like to relate on our day-to-day issues, waste. Imagine that, in Malaysia, for example, there's a study being done, but I forgot the data. Sorry about that. But then again, relatively during Ramadan, the waste that we produce double.
Why is it?
The thing that is, we think that we have to eat more. Whereby, in Islam is very religion. You should eat less during Ramadan. Things that that's why it's still back to Islam. We have to be responsible in terms of our consumption. And then things like now things change. Like the evidence development. We are not going to bring that or something. That's it. Yeah, we should act on it. Yeah, even at the university level, for example, we like to see that there's more people in the university or even in the schools. Those kind of things. You know? So we still have to go back to think about it and then.
What time do we have to start? No, I'm asking the MC.
Yeah, I think we can have one more.
One more question. All right, please.
Assalamualaikum and very good afternoon to everyone in STL panel. So my name is Amanah and I'm from UCSI Sarawak, which is UMass. So my question is actually being discussed just now by one of our panel, which is regarding the consumption itself. So as we are aware that currently, especially during our internet era, we all have like different apps, like Shopee, Amazon, like, and then it is much easier than ever for us to spend money on useless stuff, like we buy on a hunch. And in the end, we would produce a lot of waste. And then one of the things that if you want to achieve net zero emission is you want to reduce the type of single-use products. And then the company, like for example, say Amazon, Shane, they typically doesn't enforce sustainable practices. So, in your opinion, how do we ensure this type of companies, push for more sustainable practices in their business?
How do we ensure it? Anybody like to respond? Please.
I try to understand why you actually asked that question. I think firstly, like what Mr. was actually mentioned, the first thing actually is if we can buy less. There are only companies that supply, but the persons that really make that determination is you. So you should actually buy less. Am I right? If you have one handful, or you have need two handful, I'm not sure. I think I have one handful. Yeah, sorry, asking me handful. Just again, so I think it still go back to the people. So if people do that, okay, so you are actually doing it you consume responsibly. You don't simply actually think, why not buy? Why not buy? This is actually in the hierarchy of the Western is the most you should do the management. Maybe there's another point. So now come to the company. You say whether this amounts no and whatever. So the only things I think which actually the students actually mentioned is actually the waste. So actually we can always set some rules to these people, to this whoever it is. Your wrapping, your delivery of the goods and services to you. Have a certain, maybe you say, I don't want to rim or how many reps that you're going to have. You can come up with some method to have a proper taking care of your goods to deliver to you, but with less waste that actually you're going to use. So actually these are always can be, right? Because you can always ask people how to do it. You want them to say, okay, I want this to be packed. I don't want the plastic at the outside. I just want them to be inside. Or a box on the outside. This is always something that is the supplier can do for you as their responsibility. But first of all, waste minimization is something from you.
Just want to add what he said just now. One thing that really strikes me is that who is making you? Who's making the choices is you. Who is going to make the changes is you. So, not you, it's us. So, in the beginning session just now, about finding your place in community, finding your place in the net zero, finding your place in sustainability. because basically from the question that being asked by all of you, I'm quite impressed, with all the questions and the thought that you have. The next thing now is the action. What can all of us do? Yeah. From what Madam Bhumika was sharing just now in her presentation, in her opening speech story, she was talking about the program, the partnership program, where all of you, the students, can come up with an initiative to help to reduce, the net zero, any other program that you can think of, and how we over here can partner and assist you. So, if this is something that, for me, this is something that is very interesting, and from what we are, extremely excited, and we are looking forward. And I have shared with you my team member who are, down there with all of you. We can approach them and see how we can collaborate. But I really want to reiterate, when we Sarawak decided, to be relevant, to be more valued, and the first thing that we want to do, we find our place where we should be. And guys, here we are. We started in 2019, now it's 2024, and I can tell you that when it comes to economy, in 3 years ago, when it comes to self-performance, by talking about the impact and the legacy that the internet can do to the destination, our self-performance is at 100%. 100% meant that every week, 100 week is about 100 week. We want it. So, this is how you value yourself. Yeah. Second one is that when it comes to the community, so we have been, many years ago, we have been very close to our own BE Sarawak network. It has to be BE Sarawak. But we open up to non-business events. So we open up to every community. We have both built legacy, CSR program, and this is where we collaborated with the Sarawak Energy Hub. And we have heart-to-heart with the orangutan that we have developed 18 years ago with the Sarawak Forestry, now we're running on its own. And we also have a lot more CSR projects. That is not doing once. What we created, not the program, we created the ecosystem where it can be run with or without us. So this is the initiative that I want you to speak of. Yeah. Other than that, thank you so much for me.
Okay, all right. In fact, talking about climate governance, one of the biggest challenges is behavioral change. To change your behavior, as mentioned in March, you have to make a decision. That's why awareness creation is very important. The role of the individual. We talk about plastic pollution. Actually, that is the biggest factor. How to change the behavior of people. So anyway, I think
maybe I can make it some from very quick. So yeah, very quick, no worries. Right. So we have to echo from what our previous panelists has mentioned regarding how each one of you here can play a role. All right. Okay. SDG number 17. Anyone else? Partnership for the goals. Right. So basically, no one is left behind. Everyone, each one of us here, have our own role to play and how to support in terms of our climate action. All right. Just to share a little bit on our collaboration with a few higher learning institutions. Just taking an example, UNIMAS. All right. So in 2017, we had this scientific expedition in this upper catchment valley. Alright, why this is very important for Sarawak Energy is that we collaborate, at that time we collaborate with UNIMAS as well as FBS, Forestry Department of Sarawak, as well as WWF. Right, why we are interested in this scientific expedition is because the upper catchment valley, it is the source of water coming down to the valley Alui River, which is going to be a Balik Reservoir. Alright, so what do you have in yourself, which is the greatest asset besides people, is the data. Alright, coming from corporate perspective, we have limited resources. Alright, we are very tied up in day-to-day operation, day-to-day work, and whatnot. So we are very limited data information for us to move forward in order for us to do sound efficient basically. So we need facts, figures. Alright, so this is the way how universities here can actually collaborate with corporate people, ministries, and whatnot to help us in building a good business case to sustain not only for the state but as well as for the overall sustainable development agenda. Alright, so yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Whatever it is, just to summarize, climate change is real. We have no way of abandoning this net zero agenda. And as I mentioned earlier, business of the future will have to comply with the carbon mandate. And this will affect future careers. That's why I would actually advise students to think hard about how to get yourself to be in sync with future business. And future business will be about carbon. Thank you once again to the panelists and thank you the good discussion, and hopefully this will send some messages to our youth prepare for their future. Please.
Thank you to the moderator and panel speakers. Before we end the panel discussion session, I would like to invite our YB, the Honorable Dr. Haji Hazam bin Abang Haji Hibri, Deputy Minister for Energy and Environmental Sustainability, Sarawak, to explain about the green economic policy of Sarawak.
Okay, before I go to that slide, which I promised this was to add on to some of the issues discussed. Question number one was on oil and gas. That is a very interesting point because wherever I went all over the world, they always ask me that question: how does Sarawak manage the conflict between oil and gas producing country and renewable energy champion? You see, it is conflicting, isn't it? We are also producing oil and gas, and at the same time, we are also advocating green energy economy. So the answer is a world standard answer, which I didn't hear from everybody just now. Is there's nothing wrong with oil and gas. Professor, there's nothing wrong with oil and gas. That is the answer. So what is wrong? We are using oil and gas in the wrong way for the last 200 years. And in the world now, 60% of the usage of oil and gas is on transportation and industrial oil. 60%. So that's why there's a lot of carbon being emitted in the last 200 years. And only 40% is for the production of petrochemical products, like our plastic, our composite material, our fertilizers, and so on. So, in order to achieve the net zero, we have to reverse the ratio. Reverse it. It should be 60% on production of petrochemical and only 40% for transportation and industrial power. Okay? Then we will achieve net zero. And net zero, the point is now, is still a bit of confusion. It does not mean total zero of carbon emission. It's impossible. It's impossible. Yeah. So we can only balance the carbon emission with REs and so on. Yeah, we can balance it. And the balancing is called net zero. Okay. The other one is awareness versus legislation. Yeah, still some people are talking about awareness. So awareness, okay lah, but it's not that easy to make people aware of this. So that's why the government comes in with the legislation. So it is a carrot and stick approach. We have to punish those who are emitting carbon, especially the high carbon emitters like the energy sector, oil and gas, the cement manufacturer, the steel, aluminium, fertilizers, the airline industry. These are the highest emitters globally, and the transportation industry, which contributes about 15 to 18% of the carbon emission in the world. Okay? We have to manage it through various ways. And one of the things that we have done in Sarawak, I mentioned, the laws that we amended the land code, we amended the forest ordinance, we have come up with a new law which is called the Environmental Ordinance 2023. And inside that environmental ordinance, we have the carbon levy, which is a carbon tax. Even in Malaysia, we don't have carbon tax. Only in Singapore, they have carbon tax. And in Sarawak, we have enforced that carbon levy in March this year, but only for the high emitting industries. Okay? And we also will not be charging them a very high rate because it is for awareness, still awareness for the industries. And we will give them a grace period of between 3 to 5 years before we really charge them for emitting carbon. And then the waste to energy, very interesting also. Yeah. We are coming up with a new policy which is called the WTE policy from our ministry. Is in the works now with NRAB, with APU, and so on. And it has been done already. The technology is like what is mentioned by Frederick just now in the Nordics, but we are looking more at the Chinese, the Japanese, and the Korean technique because it is simpler, more practical, easier, and cheaper, and a lot cheaper. Yeah, we have set of people there to study for it. So it is coming soon. And just for example, our municipal waste by the BKS, our own waste, our home waste. You know how much we can collect per day in Kuching? It is about 700 tons per day. Just municipal waste only, 700 tons a day. And you know how much energy we can get from 700 tons per day? 70 megawatt per day. So we're going towards everything. The reason why it has not been done is, I told jokingly to Govenance is that they're waiting for Abang Joe and myself to embark into this program. That means the other leaders did not look into this. That is why the landfill is still there. Okay, nuclear. The question was on Malaysia, isn't it? So I asked him back, why should Malaysia look to nuclear when we have all those energies, like mentioned by Madam Park? We have 8 other energies. We don't need nuclear, even though it can be used. But the other point is that it is not green. Okay? And long-term funding, post-PCDS. We have, I told you just now, a lot of banks who are offering us billions and billions and billions of funding ready for anybody to embark into the green energy, green economy. And just to share one example, if you read the news, Premier just announced a few months ago after we went back to Korea, Seoul, when we had a meeting with Samsung, that Korea is already proposing to us a long-term project, which is called the Sarawak New Energy Hub. It's a hub, complete hub with everything, all the new energies are there, somewhere between Bintulu and Miri. And it is a 25 years project. And the cost of the project is $450 US by Samsung. That's just one example. So it will not end there. It will not end by 2030. This project is up to 2050. Okay, this one example. There are a lot more other examples. And the green business question is now, the word is incentivization. How to incentivize those businesses which does home delivery and so on. The government must think of some kind of incentive for those kind of services. And one of it, which is possible, is through tax allowances to those businesses. Tax allowances. For example, just like in Norway, we went to Norway 3 times in the last 2 years to study. And Norway has got the highest number of EVs in the world. Highest number of EVs. 75% of their cars are EV. Why? And they did it only in 4 years. They are now the highest EV users in the world. And the reason is because the government incentivizes those people who drive and use EV cars. How? By giving tax allowances, income tax allowances. And those allowances are equal to the price of the battery. So that's how it's done. Okay, so it's very interesting, and we will update you from time to time on whatever new incentives that the government is going to do. So this is the Sarawak Green Economy Policy. It is based simply on one thing, which is low carbon. Low carbon in whatever way you do it. And the strategic pillars are the energy, transport, land use, wastewater, low carbon, and waste, and we have the enablers, and we have 31 strategies. I need another 3 hours to explain this. Thank you very much, UCSI. I don't mind if you invite me some other time, because I have to share this with you. Also, okay, it's very, very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the Honorable Dr. Haji Hadrami, Abang Haji Hebi, and moderator and speaker for the session. You may all now return to your seats for our next session. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like your cooperation to fill out the evaluation form using the QR code on your table.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, let us now focus our attention to the screen for this video presentation. Corporate video highlighting the university's achievement and way forward.
Hey guys, long time no see. I saw you guys on the way up. Would you like to take a buggy? No? Alright.
Appreciation to our esteemed panel speaker and keynote speaker. Also, we will invite the photographer to capture this moment. Once on stage, we would also ask for all recipients to remain on stage for a group photo session. Ladies and gentlemen, first, we will now invite on stage the Honorable Dr. Hadi Hassan, Deputy Minister for Energy and Environment Sustainability Sarawak, accompanied by Madam Govenance Sandu, Pro Vice Chancellor.
First, let me now invite on stage the panel speaker, Mr. Zainuddin Zainal Abidin, Senior Sustainability Executive, Sarawak Energy Berhad. Mr. Zairi, please remain on stage. Thank you. Moving on, Madam Jacqueline Wong Ye Fan, Head of Climate Change and Corporate Sustainability, Sarawak Forestry Corporation. Madam Sang Moon Wong, Head of Biodiversity and Environment Division, Ministry of Natural Resources and Urban Development. Madam Amanah Lestari, Chief Executive Officer, Business Event Sarawak. Mr. Moshidi Frederick, Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth, Sport and Entrepreneurial Development Sarawak.
We will now invite on stage the moderator, Professor Dr. Ahmad bin Ibrahim. And now, as a gesture of appreciation to our guest of honor, may we invite Madam Govenance Sandu, Pro Vice Chancellor, to present the token of appreciation to the Honorable Dr. Hadi Hassan, Deputy Minister for Energy and Environment and Sustainability, Sarawak. May all the recipients remain on stage for a group photo session. Photographers, we will all begin photo session. Next, another round of photo session. another round of processions on the floor with all our guests in the hall. We will invite our guests of honor, moderators, and speakers to be seated. Photographers, please be on stage to capture this moment. May we all invite the delegates to move forward behind the VIP for our photo session.
We will give some time for everyone to gather around.
Delegates, please move forward behind the VIPs for the photo session. Thank you. You all lift your feet. I'd like to know if anyone else has any questions, they can email the YB official email on their website. Thank you. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we would like your cooperation to fill out the evaluation form using the QR code on your table.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes today's forum. We invite you to join us for a tea break and networking session at the ballroom foyer. Thank you for your participation. On behalf of UCSI University Sarawak campus, we hope you gain valuable insights from this event and are inspired to play a role in achieving a thriving Sarawak.
We look forward to seeing you at future events and wish you all a
Thank you.